Good afternoon, everyone. Jimmy Carter, America's 39th president and longest living U.S. president in history, has died today around 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He was 100 years old. He had been looking forward to seeing America's first female president. He voted for Hillary Clinton and made clear his choice for Kamala Harris. He was too ill to vote in person, so he voted by mail. Jimmy Carter was an interesting man. Actually, ostensibly, he was not interesting at all. He was thought to be very bland by a great many people. He was not into glitz and glamour. Famously, when he won the presidency, on his ride up to the White House, which is a largely ceremonial, presidents are in the armored limousine, and they drive down Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House, and there's always cheering fans and yada yada yada. He got out with his wife and, holding his daughter's hand, walked up to the White House. In the early 50s, he worked on his own farm and ran or operated Carter's Warehouse, which was a general purpose seed and farm supply company. He won election to the Georgia Senate in 1962 and ran for governor but lost in 1966. He ran again in 1970 and won, becoming Georgia's 76th governor. He served as the Democratic National Committee chairman for the 1974 congressional elections, and then officially announced his candidacy for presidency in late 1974. He won and was elected the 39th president of the United States. Now, he's often seen as not having accomplished a great deal, and history most often remembers what you did last. Nixon is a spectacular example of this. Nixon was a spectacularly, wildly successful president. He was, in fact, also for human rights. He was for the desegregation of the United States, and accomplished a great many diplomatic feats, including with China. He was undone by, well, again, what he did last, and is most remembered for the Watergate incident. With Carter, Carter was always a humanitarian, and he was able to successfully broker a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt, making Egypt the first country in the Middle East to actually recognize Israel as a state. The successful Camp David Accords is one of the highlights of Carter's presidency. However, in 1979, the U.S. Embassy in Tehran was stormed and the diplomatic staff were taken hostage. He failed to successfully negotiate for their release and then attempted a military solution, but one of the helicopters suffered technical problems and was not able to take off. These failures hung around his neck, and he was seen as a rather unsuccessful president and failed to win re-election. He nonetheless did receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and in Cuba, in 2002, outlined why the sanctions on Cuba should be removed and argued for a closer relationship between the United States and Cuba, a highly unpopular view at the time. He also met with Hamas leaders in Cairo, Egypt, which upset everybody, since Hamas is a terrorist organization, labeled so by the United States and Israel. He never failed to attempt diplomacy with anyone, and he also believed very strongly in doing the work himself for trying to make the world a better place. Habitat for Humanity was a very small organization when he joined, and there are many times when you can see the photo ops of him hammering a house and helping build one. Those weren't photo ops. He was actually doing that. And yes, he did do photo ops as well, but he also helped build homes. He was a farmer. He was used to getting his hands dirty. He, in 2015, he announced that he had melanoma on his brain and would undergo treatment. He started suffering a number of medical difficulties and was admitted into hospice care in 2023. He died earlier today, again at around, I think it was 3:15 p.m. In his home, and is again he's one of those. This was one actually. I wanted to make sure I said this, and I wanted to let me see if I can find the numbers because this was yes. He did a great deal. He was willing to meet with Kim Jong-un, another unpopular one. But he created the Carter Institute to, let's see, I do want to find this because I want to get this right, or the Carter Center, which was with the ostensive, excuse me, a little tongue-tied today, with the primary goal of helping developing countries, including, again, working with Habitat for Humanity, and seeking to eliminate diseases. One of the greatest accomplishments of the Carter Center is to have basically eradicated guinea worm, which is a grotesque disease and had more than 3 million cases a year in 1986 and was reduced to 14 cases in 2021. So he was not a particularly, don't know how to put this, he wasn't glamorous, but he put his money where his mouth is, and he always tried to start with the diplomatic approach, and he was often criticized for this as being a weak president who failed again in the Iran hostage crisis and was not tough enough against American enemies. He lost to the incoming President Ronald Reagan, who was seen as especially a stronger figure against the, quote, Red Menace. So I'm going to quickly go look at the Super Chats, and then we will call it a show. Sorry, we are behind again. As usual, it's in time, not on time. UTV and Ham gifted 1 membership. Thank you, sir, once again for your continued support. We very much appreciate it. Dunk on you, $20. Rip President Carter, a good man. Just a genuinely solid good man. And those are hard to, I mean, imagine Elon Musk building a house for someone. Yeah. Dunk on You also gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much for that. Dunk on You. We appreciate it. Well, once again, today we unfortunately have to announce the death of America's 39th President, Jimmy Carter. He was 100 years old, died in his home under hospice care at roughly 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a show tomorrow, Downtime. It will be on the Downtime channel, so if you have not subscribed to our sister channel, go ahead and take the opportunity to do that. We will be having Downtime with Commander Lance McMillan, and Viper will be joining us. We plan on making fun of his South African accent and a number of other things because he doesn't know where we live and he can't shoot us from Ukraine. So as long as I never go to Ukraine, I'll be safe. We hope you'll join us for that. That will be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for coming, and we look forward to seeing you then. Good night.